My personal learning and teaching philosophy is that learning should be fun and it should be enjoyable for students. Students should want to be in the classroom learning, and I think they value learning more as they enjoy it and as they see that it's fun and it's at their levels developmentally appropriate for them, then they really enjoy it while they're able to be creative and interact with each other. I think one of the ways that teachers can do this and make this a realistic goal in their classroom is by really building the relationships both from teacher to student and from student to student, by building that trust from them to the student, and by being someone who is interested in the students' lives and wants to listen to what they say. And I think one of the ways that we can do this, both teacher to student, is through classroom meetings and being able to really talk openly about our lives and what we're doing and our thoughts about class, and just really having that open discussion. And building a strong classroom community from student to student, and really building that friendship at the beginning of the year so that our classroom is a safe place where students feel like they can discuss their ideas and they can give their input and they really have a say in what's going on, which goes into, I think, having democracy in the classroom is important to an extent. I think it's important that there are rules, but I think in order to really understand the rules, the students need to have a say in what's fair and what the expectations are, and to really have those clear and high expectations for students, but that students are able to express themselves and are able to talk about the rules and are able to adjust them as there's needed, which can only happen with a good relationship. As far as philosophies go, I love Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, and I think, again, going back to relationships, learning happens a lot as we interact with each other and as we're able to discuss our ideas, and building that classroom community is super important in order to do that. I also, as far as discipline philosophy goes, love Mundler and Kerwin and Glasser, which all really focus on, again, the relationship, but disciplining with dignity and being able to praise in public, but to reprove in private, and to really build that trust again that I'm not going to embarrass you, I'm not out to get you, I want you to understand. And it comes from that place from the teacher of understanding and teaching that, look, this is something you need to know, and this is something that is expected, without being embarrassing or rude about it. I also think that it's important to be flexible as a teacher and to be able to allow students that choice. And so students are able to express and do their learning in different ways and have some choice about how they learn or when they learn, during the day or during the week. So one example of this, it would change from grade to grade level, obviously, but one of the examples is if you're in a first grade class and you have centers, if you do centers all 5 days a week, you have 5 different activities, and the students are able to choose which activity they do which day, but they just have to make sure they get all 5 done. So the students are still learning and meeting the expectation or the state standards set by the state and by the teacher, but they also have that choice where they're able to say, I'm really not feeling like being on an iPad today, but I'm going to do this center instead, and I know that later on the week I'll eventually get to whatever requirement centered my teacher has set. So they really feel like they have that say, and they're able to be a little bit flexible, as well as if there's projects, they're able to choose something that's what's meaningful to them, what's something that they're really going to benefit from and learn from. And I think that's different from every student to student. And so having that communication where they're able to come to me and say, this is what I think, and this is why, and this is how I'm going to learn doing it, then I'm totally game to listen to those suggestions, as well as if there's a need for flexible seating or if there's a need for something that is going to enable student success and student learning, then I'm definitely interested in that and want my students to feel like they can come and they can say to me, I need this, and this is why, and this is why I think it's a good idea, and then we can try it and see how it goes. So I think basically my philosophy comes down to like strong student relationships from student to student and from student to teacher, where there's that trust, where our classroom really is the safe environment where everyone can learn and we can communicate, we can talk about learning, and we can learn at our best abilities. And then having a set discipline management plan. I'm kind of a medium control, where I think there's a time and a place where you need to listen and it's a little more rigid, and there's a time and a place where we can be loud and have fun, and that's how we learn too. And so having those expectations, and as a teacher being really clear about modeling and the expectations that you set, saying this is I expect no talking during this test, versus talk to your neighbor, I want you to interact, I want you to act this out, kind of setting those boundaries. And then again, just making learning a fun place, letting the students want to be at school. And I think as students, again, value learning and have fun learning, that it really does put the value on their education, that they see why it's important. They see that it's fun. They see that they have a say in their education, and it in turn helps them to succeed and to value what they're doing.